Here we are with the 2026 War of Rights Regimental tier list for you all today. Some people wanted this badly. Joker of 19th Indiana, I'm talking about you. Some people were like, sir, we need this video. It's been a while since the last one. Some people are like, what the heck are you doing? And some people called me stupid. And maybe some other words beyond that. And all of those valid opinions are, as I just said, valid. But nonetheless, this is the War of Rights Regimental tier list. We sent the survey out in July, gave people a month to fill it out, and now we have the results, and I'm here to present them to you while I'm off seeing some Civil War battlefields this weekend, which is why we're posting it now. Very appreciative of everyone that filled it out, including the people who wanted to fill it out numerous times to make sure we had enough respondents to make this thing work. We appreciate your support and not the fact that you wanted to cheat for your regiment. But nonetheless, just as a final note, of course, this might cause some drama and some chaos and all of that, which this will bring. But in the end, in the grand scheme of things, we are all LARPers playing an American Civil War game. As long as in the end you enjoy playing with the group of guys that you do, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what this tier list says about your group. Again, as long as you are having fun, that is all that matters. This is meant to have a little fun. And if you take this so seriously, then you might, in my opinion, want to re-examine things because there's much more to life than a little bit of a tier list. But nonetheless, let the chaos begin. So, 2 questions we asked people before they ranked the 100 regiments that are on this. Yes, it's a long video. That is why I'm pre-recording this one, because I'm posting it while I'm off on a group trip so we can keep the content rolling, but also listing 100 regiments out with a group of guys in a call would take forever. Also, I've been extremely busy. I'm recording this very late at night, but that's besides the point. One of the 2 questions we asked people before they filled out the survey was, 1, which faction do you play the most? And this question was required. As you can see, a majority of the people play for the Confederate side. 248 answered that. Union, 168. And then 70 people said they played a mix of both sides. Now, the second question that we asked is, what regiment do you play for if you play in one? And that was an optional question, and we'll get more into that as we progress in the video. And again, I apologize if I screw something up. This is in one tank because, again, this is going to be long. But anyways, this is the overview of what you're going to see for a rank of each regiment, and we're going to go over that before we get into it. Firstly, on the top of your screen, you have the rank of the regiment's name, and then if they are a part of a group or a brigade. Now, I've included as many regiments that were in my file because I have a file full of every single regimental banner that I've ever recorded, including a list to everyone's discords and whatnot. So if you're in that list, your regiment is likely going to be on here. Now, there's obviously going to be a mistake here and there, like, oh, this regiment has joined a brigade and they're no longer independent, or this regiment's a dead regiment. And that has happened, and it is going to happen for this video. But nonetheless, for the most part, most of the regiments on here are still active and they play the game. Below that top part, you have the graph showing the actual results. Now, on the bottom left side of your screen, you'll see a key that represents what each bar means. So, for example, the blue bar, that's S tier, the red bar, A tier. Now, you'll note in this photo that there is no pink bar for N/A. That is because this screenshot is from the previous time we did a regimental tier list where we did not do an N/A column. There was a lot of feedback regarding that, and so we've added it to this one because what happened previously is if someone didn't know a regiment, there was no N/A option. So everyone voted C tier as kind of like that middle ground, and so it really skewed everyone towards the middle. Now, Kotal did a great video after my regimental tier list video where he took the data we had in the video and redid the data, or not redid the data, but redid the math behind it and came out with different results as a result. So if you're interested in checking out the previous regimental tier list or Kotal's interpretation of it, which is very good, feel free to check out those videos in the description of the video. But this will be a graph of that. Again, very lazy, so I did not edit this from the previous year's photo. But nonetheless, you get the idea. Next, we will have the average score of the regiment. Now, this average is done a little differently than last year, and we'll get to the math when we get to the end of talking about everything on this screen, because one of the feedback we got last year was that the S and the F tiers are causing too much skew, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But on top of that, that skew, it can be too much with that. So anyways, we'll talk more about the average, but that's going to be the rank determining where each regiment stands in this whole thing. And as the video goes on, that average is going to go up. Underneath that, you have the actual raw numbers for how many times a regiment was given an S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, F tier, and then an N/A, meaning no opinion on this regiment. Onto some of the feedback from last year. So talking about the skewing with the actual average score, some people said, well, if someone's in a, like, let's say, for no particular reason, let's say I'm in Hampton's Legion, I'm going to vote S tier for Hampton's Legion because I'm in that regiment, I love the regiment, and I care for the regiment. Now that's going to skew things in one direction, because is that S tier an honest ranking from a general public? Probably not. And the alternative, right? Let's say, I don't know, I'm in the Timbuktu Regiment, and I'm like, oh, I hate those Hampton Legion guys. I'm going to vote F tier. Or if you're Timbuktu number 2, you could be like, well, I hate everyone but my regiment. So as a result, I'm going to vote F tier for everyone. So you can see how things can kind of get skewed in the S tier, but more importantly, the F tier. So what we have done is, on top of the average score, which again, the average score here is going to determine the actual ranking, I've included an average rank for a regiment if you remove the S tiers and the F tiers. And on top of that, below that, it'll show what their rank is compared to everyone else when you remove the S tiers and the F tiers. Now, something to note is that this average will be smaller than this average because the math is done slightly differently. So when we calculate the average for this, it's going to use the S tiers and the F tiers on here. So it's going to do 6 times how many S tiers you got and so forth. When you remove the S tiers from this, it's going to be a lot smaller value because you're not doing a 6 times something involved. Nonetheless, there's that. And then lastly, mentioned how there was a second question asking which regiment did you play for. And based on the respondents, if we show a regiment on screen, again, I'll say Hampton's Legion as an example, we show Hampton's Legion on screen, and they had 20 people say that they voted for them, we'll have the number 20 on the bottom here. Now, that number is not a guaranteed number of how many people from a regiment actually voted in this, but it is a guaranteed minimum, if that makes sense. So with that being said, that's the brief overview of this. If you have any particular questions, of course, please put in the comment section or message me on Discord. My DMs are always open. Now, onto the fun part, the calculations to determine this average and also this no S/F average. So we have done a little math formula that is from IMDb. They're the big movie website that has a lot of scores and averages for movies based on people's feedback. And if you don't care for the math, the general idea of this formula is it's going to say, okay, there is a regiment with a crap ton of votes, which means that it is more likely that this regiment's rating is actually legit compared to a regiment that doesn't have a lot of votes. You know, sometimes, right, let's say you have a regiment or a movie that has 10 people watch it and 9 of them, they say they love it. Does that mean that movie is a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? Not necessarily. Maybe those 10 people are like relatives of the person who made the movie, or, you know, close friends of someone who made a regiment, right? So essentially what this formula says is the more votes there are on a regiment, the closer it probably is to the actual score. And so the weighted result of that is going to be skewed a lot more towards that actual result. Whereas a regiment who, per se, let's say doesn't get a whole lot of votes for them, instead gets a lot of N/A votes, it's going to be skewed much more to the average of all the regiments combined. And so you can read a little bit more specifics about the math on the screen. If you want to look more up about this formula, you can. But the gist of it is, again, if a regiment has a lot of votes on it, it's going to be more skewed towards that actual average because it probably means it's more legit if more people are voting for that regiment compared to a regiment who doesn't get a lot of votes, where that score is a lot more crazy. So as a result, it skews much more to what the average of everyone is. So that's the general overview of that. And here is our screen. And with that being said, let the chaos begin. I know I said the chaos would begin, but something I did want to mention is for this weighted rating, or ranking, I should say, is because because removing the S tiers and the F tiers will result in less overall votes, the equation behind the no S/F average is going to be a little different than this average calculation. I'm just talking about raw numbers in terms like the V variable and the M variable, or I should say just the M variable, for example, will change, and you could see the specific numbers on there. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. And here we go with the chaos officially this time. So again, 100 regiments in 100th place. Congratulations to the Apocalyptic Rebels. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but as you can see, unlike before, we have the graph with the N/A. Again, a lot of people do not know this regiment, and they have an average of 3.0805. And so that's our benchmark starting position. So this is the general overview of the screen again. With this number here, you have their actual rating with the S tiers, the F tiers involved. The N/A is not involved in this whatsoever. It's just the average of the S tiers, the A tiers, B tiers, C tiers, D tiers, F tiers. And then the no S/S average is going to be the average of the A, the B, the C, and the D tier. And then their rank with the no S/F ranking. Now their rank in the actual official ranking is 100, but this is what they would have been if you remove the S tiers and the F tiers. And as we can see, no one in their regiment marked down that they voted for this group. And so I just want to give the brief overview with an actual example here, and we'll move a little quicker through the rest of these because everyone's like, he's stalling. Next, we have Russian Legion here. Wait a couple seconds. I mean, I already know these results, so I'm not going to give much of a reaction here. But yeah, I don't know. Next, number 98, you have the British Expeditionary Force. Again, I'm going to go a little quicker through this, so if you want to pause the video to, decipher this a little more, you can. In 97th place, we have the Alamo Brigade, followed up by the Renegade Brigade. Now, they have changed their name to Archers Legion at this point. They hopped around to Roberts Brigade, Renegade Brigade. Now they've stuck with Archers Legion. So the name is wrong and the logo is wrong, but that is the result of Renegade Brigade. They are 96 here. 95th, you have Garland's Brigade. You'll note if you remove the S and the F tiers, they jump up to 80. A pretty high jump there, about 15 places. Next, you have the Mason Henry Gang. Very similar high jump in terms of a S and F tier included versus not an S and F tier. Next, you have Kershaw's Brigade. Huge jump, going from 93 to 54 in that. But again, the S and the F tiers are going to matter for that. We'll include an average of how many S tier votes and how many F tier votes, because there's probably some people that did vote F tier for everyone. Number 92 is Jenkins Brigade. Number 91, you have 7th Ohio. And then to top off the first 10, if you want to say that, you have the Shenandoah Regulars at number 90. One of the first groups to actually go down in the no S/F ranking situation there. Anyways, number 89, we have the Quantrill's Raiders. Then you have Serpent's Brigade. Huge jump for them and the no S/F tier rankings. Again, look at how many people. It's actually, towards the bottom of this, you're going to have a lot of people that have a lot of N/A's because, again, if they don't have as many people voting for them, they're going to be drawn a lot more to the average of the entire group, which is going to lean them more towards the bottom more often than not, unless the group is, necessarily hated per se. So 87th is 8th Connecticut. Big hitter here. A little surprised to see them this low. I'll give my opinion here throughout here and there, but probably one of the big hitters down here. First ones. Wild, isn't it? 86, you have the 1st Cherokee Mounted Rifles. The pink bars are crazy. This is what we talked about, right? What you all were giving feedback on last time is everyone who voted N/A would most likely put this regiment in C tier. So you'd have 345 C tiers. That is a ridiculous amount of C tiers. So it's very good feedback, and I hope the adjustments we made here can at least accommodate for that. And I think that's part of this too, is I'm putting all the data on the screen so that you can make your own opinion about how this should be. So if you think the no S/F tier is the true ranking, then you can go by that. Nonetheless, 85th, you have the conscripted Virginian Army. Number 84, we have the Flanagan's Brigade. And then number 83, to my understanding, is their buddy group, Baker's Brigade. Number 82, you have the 3rd Central Volunteer Regiment. Number 81, we have the 53rd Ohio. And to end out the next 10 regiments, number 80 here, you have the 19th Georgia, who's a part of Evans Independent Brigade. Anyways, on to our 70s here. Number 79, you got the 51st Alabama. Number 78, you have the 14th Tennessee, which I'm pretty sure they're not active, and if they are, there's only a couple of them at this point. It's a little sad, but you know that's kind of how it rolls at times. Number 77, you have 7th Texas. I mean, they probably don't like the ranking, but 7th Texas being 77th, maybe it's meant to be. Maybe it is. Number 76, you have the 6th New Hampshire. Number 75, so we are out of the bottom quarter now. You have the 12th South Carolina, which huge jump for them in the no S/F rankings. Number 74, you have the 56th Virginia. Number 73, you have the Free States Brigade. 73, Free States Brigade. I thought that rhymed when I first said it, but I'm also stupid. Number 72, you have 8th Ohio. Number 71, you have I Corps. Again, a big hitter here. Used to be huge back in the day, which they still are. Fortunately, I don't really cover them in broadcast much anymore, but we do have XP Walker starting to cover Maryland campaign, and hopefully we can keep that going consistently to get I Corps a little more on the channel. Number 70, we got the 1st Confederate Infantry. So here we are under the 60s. We have a little bit of a meme number here. Who's the lucky regiment? You're probably like, lucky? That's a low ranking. Number 69, you have 8th Virginia. I was told they're a dead regiment, and I was like, I'm not going to include them. And then we saw the rankings, and we're like, I think we got to keep them here. One, funny number, but also imagine being a regiment ranked underneath this. No further comment needs to be said. I'm sorry, not really. Number 68, you have the 10th United States. And then, frankly, by the best number, number 67 in this ranking is the 10th Southern Cross. They are part of the Banners, which is part of Sussex Brigade. I did not write that down because Twin Banners, Sussex Brigade, that's long. But nonetheless, 10th Southern Cross at 6'7". Number 66, you have the 23rd New York Volunteers. Number 65, you have the 52nd New York. And number 64, you have the Missouri State Guard. 63 is going to be the 8th Virginia, recently formed a little bit ago, but they are a part of Sussex Brigade. Number 62, you have the Irish Volunteer Brigade, and this is the group that I'm on a group trip with this weekend while this video is being posted. So as a result, the Irish Volunteer Brigade is actually ranked number 1 with an average of 99999. Look at that. What a great regiment here. Top of the Lords. Look at that. They're perfect. I'm kidding. If I don't make another War of Rights video, you're like, why do you stop making videos? Well, here we are. Irish Volunteer Brigade, number 62. Number 61, you have the Zarvona Zouaves, part of Evans Independent Brigade. And number 60, you have the Jackson's Division, which by far is the largest group to have the most amount of members confirmed voting, and yet this low. I mean, the no S/F ranking is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But you know, that's what it is. I know some of the I know some of the regiments who have a good ranking, but their no S/F is down in the drain. And we'll see that. Anyways, number 59, you have the German Corps. Number 58, you have the 7th South Carolina. Number 57, you have Eagles Brigade. 56, 20th Maine. 55, 83rd Pennsylvania. It's actually fascinating. You get kind of towards the middle here in the no S/F rankings, starting to get a little more close to each other here. 54 is the 2nd United States Cavalry. Except for 2nd United States Cavalry, they jump way through the roof. Number 53, you have the 9th Louisiana. And then number 52, Lee's French Legion. 51, 51st Pennsylvania. I think that fits. You know, I'd be satisfied. It fits very well, except their no S/F rank is 61, which frankly is very shameful. It should be 51. But yeah, works out well, I guess, for these guys, unless, you know, you're like, they're so close to the top 50. Which, speaking of that, 17th Michigan here is number 50. Now, being said, 49, you have the 20th New York. How the heck are they number 1 in the no S/F ranking? See, that's the crazy thing, because The feedback last year was we shouldn't do the S and the F tiers. We need to just have no S/F, only A through D. This could be a concern because not to say 20th New York isn't a great group, but they're a very small group that, as we can see, not a lot of people know. So do they deserve the top tier? That is for you to decide, and the data presents accordingly. 48, 2nd Texas, they're part of Evans Independent Brigade. Next, you have 9th New York at 47, formerly 9th Corps, but RIP. 9th New York presses forward. 46, you have the 5th Virginia Cavalry, was 5th Virginia, part of 2 Corps, but Cavalry is now released, and they have switched to a cavalry group. That's why it just says 5th Virginia on the actual chart in the bottom. 45, you have the 5th Alabama here. They've been a pop-up group here as of late when I've been watching them, and especially Road to Appomattox, them being skirmishers. Very good. 44, 1st Louisiana Zouave Battalion. Love that banner of theirs. Beautiful flag in game 2. Next, you got the 2nd United States Sharpshooters. 42, you have the Great Lakes Division. 41, you have the 1st Massachusetts. And then number 40, you have the 1st Louisiana Regulars, which are part of the Evans Independent Brigade. Now we're in the, we're getting closer there at the end. Some of the groups are like, oh boy, I wonder if I'm going to be named. And then I'll say to you, your regiment's not actually on here. I'm kidding. 39, Stonewall Brigade. Number 38, we have the 13th Georgia. 37, Texas Guards. Number 36, you have Colquitt's Brigade. And then number 35, you have the Pennsylvania Army. 34, 5th North Carolina. They're part of Sussy Brigade as well. A lot of groups are part of Sussy Brigade. Funny logo they have, a little Among Us character. Although they've changed, they've gone away from that. Frankly, they're missing their heritage. It's very sad. Very sad indeed. 33 is 12th Virginia. Recent winners of the Smoke and Steel League, Season 4 champion. Of course, congrats to them on that. And they just started season number 5. Number 32, you have the 5th New Hampshire. Number 31, you have Hood's Division. And then 30, we have 2nd Wisconsin, a part of the Iron Brigade. My, oh my voice is killing me. Top 30, 29, you have the 36th New York. 28, you have the 1st Tennessee Regiment. 27, you have the 6th Wisconsin, a part of Iron Brigade. We did have 15th Wisconsin, formerly a part of Iron Brigade, now a part of the Free States Brigade. Odd here, however, we removed them since Free States Brigade was one thing. And you might ask, well, why did you separate some groups like Free States or like Iron Brigade and not Free States Brigade? Well, that's just the association I have in my mind. Like when I think of Sussy Brigade or Iron Brigade, I think of the independent groups a part of it. When I think of Stonewall Brigade or Free States Brigade, I think of one group. That's just kind of how it is. Really not much more to say than that. 26, 11 Mississippi. Great no S/F ranking there, number 6, 7. Maybe we should have made it the official ranking. I don't know. Flores, I hope you're happy. And Fletcher, too. And Porb. Great people whenever I see them on the battlefield. Phenomenal. Top 25. Number 25, you got the 4th New Jersey. 24, you got 7th Michigan. You're probably like, why is this guy stopping randomly and talking? Is he stalling again? Yes. 23, 80th New York, part of the New York Volunteers with 6th New York. Number 22, you have the 59th New York, part of Sussy Brigade. And then number 21 used to be a good meme number, but I'm sorry, 6-7's better than you. Midwest Brigade. Time to drink a glass of water. Wow, I'm going to have a voice tomorrow. 20, 3rd United States. They've blown up really as of late. Huge props to them on that. 19, 42nd Pennsylvania. Starting to get into the big dogs here. Always surprised by that, though. We've seen some big dogs already, but, the bigger the ranking, the bigger the dog. Rough. Okay. Why would I do that? And just like that, it's on the internet forever. 18th, 1st Delaware, Sussy Brigade. 17th, 6th Louisiana, 2 Corps. No, they're ranked number 1 as it pertains to the no S/F ranking, which, funnily enough, 1st Delaware was number 2. So these guys are probably like, what the heck? What are we doing here? They're probably going to take a screenshot and alter this and be like, we are number 1. Asterisks. 16, the banners, part of Sussy Brigade. The banners, like I said, there's the banners, and then you have Sussy Brigade. The banners is, as you can see, the logo on the left. 1st Maryland, 1st Texas, 5th Florida. And then I think 10th Southern Cross, but I'm not entirely sure. I think that might be the bottom right one. I feel like I should know this of anyone because I'm going on a group trip with them in a few weeks. And now that I'm saying this, I'm probably going to get burnt for it. And I think understandably. Number 15, top 15. First North Carolina Sharpshooters. They've recently joined Stonewall Brigade after the start of this survey, which is why they are on their own here. The high score from them, clearly bringing up the Stonewall Brigade score here. 14, you have 19th Indiana, Joker. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. What did he say in the Discord? Because he was asking me, he's like, Eagle, when are you doing this thing? And he said, if I'm not in the top 30, I'm nuking myself. Well, I'm glad you're not nuking yourself, Joker. You know, we need someone to ask for the next one. Number 13, you have 8th Florida here, running reenactment events. Danny does a real good job with that. Of course, you can see those recordings on this channel, especially the Revolutionary War ones. Really, top viewed video on this channel is 1776 reenactment event from last year. It's crazy. You know, you spend all this time broadcasting and everything, and the biggest videos aren't even that. But, you know, can't complain. It is what it is. Number 12, 6 Arkansas. Or should I say 6-7 Arkansas. Number 11, we have Pickett's Brigade. Number 10, you have the 65th Illinois. Now, this is the fascinating thing, is it's going to get worse, but some of these groups, like look at 10th ranked overall when you consider S and F tiers. When you exclude those, 46. It's fascinating. And I think it's because some of these higher end groups have a lot more S tiers involved, and so cutting that score off is a huge detriment to your score. Again, of course, you decide what is important and which one matters. Number 9, 5th Wisconsin. But look at that. 5th Wisconsin pretty good here in terms of like how close they are. Number 8, we have 20th Georgia. You know what I think I'll do? I'll put an ad after every single... I'm kidding. That'd be horrendous. YouTube wouldn't even do that. They would only show you like 1 or 2 ads. Nonetheless, number 7, 3rd Alabama. Look at that. 7th overall, 95th if you exclude the S and Fs. And that's because they have 64 S tiers and also 52 members that voted for them. Coincidence that they're this high? You can decide. Number 6, Hampton's Legion. They're up there, but not the top 5. Number 5 on the list, we have the 6 New York Volunteers here. The last groups on the list are the Kentucky Outlaws, 3rd United States Horse Artillery, Army Northern Virginia, and the 7th Louisiana. Number 4, Kentucky Outlaws. 3rd United States Horse Artillery, Army Northern Virginia, and the 7th Louisiana. Number 3, 7th Louisiana. And now we have the 3rd United States Horse Artillery and the Army of Northern Virginia next. Now, if you've watched this channel for a long time, or your name's Killer or Cloud, or among the many other high-standing officers in the Army of Northern Virginia, you'll probably know that the Army of Northern Virginia keeps winning these things, whether it be the regimental tier list or independent, like Killer, winning Officer of the Year awards in the yearly War of Rights show, or that we do here every year. And when I saw these stats, I'm like, this better not happen again. You know, if this is going to keep happening, they might as well be paying me for it. But nonetheless, Army of Northern Virginia, 3rd United States Horse Artillery. Number 2 is the 3rd United States Horse Artillery, which, look at that, no S/F ranking, number 100, which leaves in first place, yet again, the Army of Northern Virginia. They can't keep getting away with this. This is crazy. Wow. I mean, you could see, right, no S/F rankings for both Army of Northern Virginia, 3rd United States Horse Artillery. I mean, even 7th Louisiana, Kentucky Outlaws here. I mean, it drops. That's just because they have so many S tiers. And again, it chops off their score. But huge congratulations. Of course, everyone, there's only going to be one number 1. So, I mean, again, don't take this thing seriously. In the grand scheme of things, if you are having fun with your regiment, that is all that matters in the end. Because in the end, you're here to play War of Rights and have a good time with the group of guys that you're hanging out with. And so don't take this too seriously. This is meant to be fun. I say that, and I know the implications. But anyways, here's some overall stats of the entire thing. The average ranking was 3.4, roughly. You have the average ratings. Average F tier was 45. So obviously you can probably approximate, there's probably, you could probably say there's a good amount of people in there that probably voted F for everyone. Or maybe there's just, everyone hates each other. Maybe that's the case. Everyone should be voting S tiers for everyone. I'm kidding. But as mentioned at the beginning, right, the no S/F tiers, this ranking here, it's going to be a lower number than the actual average ranking, because if you cut out all those S tiers, that's a 6 times S number of S votes. So that's going to cut that out. And then some other stats on here. But yeah, I appreciate to everyone who filled this out. I appreciate you all watching this video. I seriously, I don't think I can thank you guys enough for just the channel overall to be at the point. I'm just saying in general. I'm more saying this because I'm off seeing Civil War battlefields, relaxing, which I'm not complaining, but that doesn't happen much. And so allowing that to happen, to allow me to go on these trips will not be possible without y'all. Now that we have other people broadcasting events, it's also absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this channel has grown a lot over the years, and I just cannot thank you all enough. I mean, we're over 4.5 years into this, and we just keep growing. It doesn't matter how slow it is, we keep growing, and that could not have been done without you guys. I mean, if you go back to the first video on this channel, horrible quality, horrible commentating, but you all stuck through it, and here we are now. So I can't thank you all enough. We're going to keep working as hard as we can to make as many videos as we can, get as many War of Rights events covered as we reasonably can. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I'm going to be going on these trips, and I don't deserve it. So God bless you all. Appreciate you all. I hope you enjoyed the rankings one way or another, in a fun, chaotic way, or if you're frustrated. Again, it is what it is. So I love that quote. What a beautiful quote. So we'll see you all in the next one. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your night.